We're almost home. I mentioned him earlier. He's just finishing week 2 in the job. Please help me welcome, representing Pat Callahan and other members of law enforcement, the interim director of the Department of Public Safety for the great city of Newark, Brian O'Hara.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Governor Murphy, Lieutenant Governor Oliver, for your leadership and pushing forth, these really just common sense issues that should have been addressed already. Because as I know a lot of the folks from the community that are here, and I can tell you there's a lot of people here, who have experienced harm and loss in their personal lives, and this is clearly something that should have been handled before. And, over the last year, we know not just in New Jersey, but all across the country, legal gun sales have skyrocketed, right? I think they're up over 300% in New Jersey, and that's a trend that we've seen nationally ever since the pandemic began. And what we know from that is there's just more guns in circulation. And it's not just those legal guns, because a lot of those guns that are bought through straw purchases in other states, and they wind up on the streets here in Newark, causing harm and death and destruction, and then the trauma that's left behind by the survivors, like Miss Redding and others who have suffered, just unspeakable loss in their personal lives. I want to thank Mayor Baraka. It's the first time I've gotten a chance to do so publicly. It is the honor of my lifetime to stand here in this position on your team to try and do something about public safety in the city of Newark and bring it to the next level. Because, I've been a Newark cop for 20 years. I started a block over at the precinct on 17th Avenue. And I can't tell you how different today is versus, the vast majority of my career. I can't tell you how different things are in Newark because of the mayor's leadership in this area and the reform that's been done over the last 5 years in particular. It's been incredible. It is absolutely incredible. When I became a police officer here, more than 20 times a year, Newark cops were shooting at people in this city. There's a few times I remember working, more than once in a single day, cops shot at people in Newark. Because of the mayor's leadership, and by the grace of God, we got through last year for the first time in modern history without one police-involved shooting. Thank God. And it's a testament not just to the mayor's leadership in this area, but also because all of you from the community that have been partners with us in this effort. We talk about, obviously our elected leaders here on the stage, but, I'm standing before you here as the public safety director in Newark, and I look out and there's so many other leaders here that I know personally, on a first name basis, that are out here on the streets doing the real work. And it's not, it's of course Akila and Damon and everyone from the street team that are out here, saving lives, literally. And it's, obviously Director Keisha Yuri, and I know Dawn was in here, and other folks from the Brick City Peace Collective. I see Jamil here from Newark Anti-Violence Coalition, and my man Al Tariq from the Hub, a couple blocks over on Prince Street. And, Will and Fatim, Equal Justice USA, so many people that are doing such incredible work that's made, not just the issue of violence, this senseless violence, reducing that, but also making Newark so different over the last year. Virtually every other city in the United States last year experienced serious civil disruption, right? And serious increases in violence, because of the pandemic and civil unrest that happened and protests, and that did not happen in Newark. It happened literally almost every other city in North America. That happened. And why didn't that happen? Because a lot of the folks here, that's why it didn't happen. Because when hundreds of people came to the first precinct here on 17th Avenue, they were regular folks from the community, a lot of you that are here. When they tried to, they wanted to cause destruction, they wanted to try to burn the precinct down like they did in other cities, folks from the community stood between the police and those people and said, no, you're not going to do that here. And so I have to say, it's so humbling to stand here before you with this group of people, and thank you so much for all that you do for this community to help save lives. But going back to why we're here, you know, obviously there's just an incredible need for this legislation. On behalf of the Newark Police Department, thank you, Governor, for taking leadership in this area. You know, just very, very sensible things that can help us interrupt violence and stop violence. You know, keep guns out of the hands of folks who should not have them. You know, increase the penalties for high-capacity weapons. Just in the last week, we took 2 high-capacity weapons off the street, you know, one just a couple blocks from here. And I'm talking about guns that have over 20 or 30 rounds of ammunition in them. What do you need that for? Like, what lawful purpose could you possibly need that for? So, you know, through all this, the Newark Police Department over the first quarter of this year has already recovered over 177 illegal firearms from the streets of the city. That's up 31% from last year. It just shows you why it's so absolutely critical that this legislation gets passed. And so the Newark Police Department thanks you for your leadership in this area, and we fully support all your efforts. Thank you, Governor.